जय गुरुजी महाराज, शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज। ओम नमः शिवाय, शिव जी सदा सहाय। ओम नमः शिवाय, गुरुजी सदा सहाय। जय गुरुजी, शुक्राना गुरुजी। With folded hands and gratitude in my heart, I bow to the lotus feet of divine beloved Guruji, and with his due permission, with his divine grace and blessings, I would like to start with a reading of chapter 5, which will be the first satsang from the holy book Light of Divinity. So the first satsang is when the Divine Father blessed us with sons. It was in the last week of June 1998 that I had the good fortune of having Guruji's darshan. My maternal uncle had been telling us about Guruji and the miraculous cure of his heart problem. My uncle had been advised to go for an urgent bypass surgery by his cardiologist. Preparing himself mentally for surgery, he had gone to Guruji for his blessings. Guruji had ordered him to sit near him and press his feet. Guruji then inquired about his health. Uncle told him and then sought Guruji's permission to leave and his blessings for the imminent surgery. Guruji told him that he need not go for the surgery, saying, "I have already done your bypass." It was hard to believe even for a devout disciple like him, but he was happy that Guruji had blessed him. Next morning, Uncle went for his pre-admission tests. The tests revealed that his heart was functioning perfectly. His cardiologist, however, attributed the good reports to the tests having been done just after the patient had slept well. He directed Uncle to get the tests redone at a different laboratory. Again, the results were the same. The doctor was stunned. Uncle related the night's happenings at Guruji's to the doctor. The doctor was left speechless and could not but wonder at Guruji's divine intervention. Even though I knew of Guruji's grace, I could not receive his darshan because I was posted at Srinagar and came to Delhi only on short visits for official work. Fortunately, the next time I visited Delhi, Uncle conveyed the good news that Guruji was in Delhi and we could go to meet him. We went to the Empire Estate Sthan of Guruji the same evening. It was quite late by the time we reached there. The last round of langar was on and Guruji had gone to his room for a while. We were asked to sit for the langar and were with the sangat when Guruji walked out of his room. The first darshan of Guruji, walking gracefully though unassumingly into the hall, dressed in a black kurta, is still fresh in my mind. He recognized my uncle, observed us first-timers there, and came to us. He asked Uncle to introduce us and then gave us chutti, leave, after telling us to come to the ranch, a farmhouse on the Gurgaon-Mehrauli road, for his birthday. First day and testing times. As luck would have it, the next day when I went to join my Delhi office, I was told to go back to Srinagar on temporary duty as the new in charge had faltered on service and a customer had complained to the regional office. I returned to Srinagar unhappy at the prospect of not being able to get Guruji's darshan on his birthday, but confident of meeting with success in my official duty as I had received darshan and Guruji's blessing. I knew everything would go as Guruji wanted it to. I went through the official duties at Srinagar and Avantipur under tough conditions, remembering Guruji in every adverse moment. The customer was more demanding than ever before and used to push us around, attempting to substantiate his complaint. I could have failed at occasions like this in the past, but this time it was different. There was an anchor I was holding on to and remembering him during every rough hour. Finally, after a month, the customer called me to his office and in front of me made a call to a regional office, telling them of the excellent service being received. He told them to ignore the complaint. An appreciation letter was handed over to me. I knew whose doing this was. I returned to Delhi, looking forward to Guruji's darshan. My family had gone for Guruji's birthday celebrations and had been regularly going to Empire Estate. They told me of the many thousands of devotees who had come to Guruji's birthday and of the experiences the Sangat had shared with them. I thought, but would he bless us with a child? We had been childless for 7 years. Medical treatment, prayers, and upays, remedies had failed. My uncle had suggested we seek Guruji's blessings. He had also related the experience of a contractor friend of his. You will get children, run away. The contractor had been childless for 16 years when he got Guruji's blessings. Guruji had told him, Puttar vi ditte, ti vi ditte, hor isi saal. I give you sons and a daughter too, that to this very year. This was unbelievable, but true to Guruji's word. The contractor's wife gave birth to triplets, two sons and a daughter on 31st December of that year. Everything is possible with Guruji's blessings, but whether and when he will bless us. I wondered. We continued visiting Guruji regularly, but he never talked to us. The Sangha told us to have faith in Guruji. He will talk to you at an appropriate time. Do not go to him on your own to mention your problem, they advised us. One day, when we were sitting amidst the Sangat after the langar, Guruji gestured to me to come to him. Was he indeed calling me? Yes, it was me, the Sangat assured me. I walked up to Guruji, thousands of thoughts in my mind, but with no courage to speak. Aithe kyun aaya ve? Why have you come here? He asked me. I mustered just enough courage to mutter, Guruji, I have no children. Guruji said detachedly, you will get children, run away from here. Without thinking, I muttered, Guruji, I have not come to run away. Guruji looked at me and said, okay, then keep coming every 8th day. This was something that surprised me no end. I wondered how Guruji knew it was convenient for me to come only every 8th day. At that time, I was working in shifts with a 8-day rotation cycle, 2 morning shifts, 2 afternoon shifts, 2 night shifts, and then 2 off days, with only the evening of the first off day being convenient for attending the satsang. We started going for Guruji's darshan every 8th day. The members of the Sangat who had been blessed by Guruji used to narrate their experiences. They gave us hope that our desires would also be fulfilled. Thanks to Guruji, but when we used to ask ourselves. Also, things were improving. My wife's job became permanent in November 1998. She took Guruji's blessings before her job interview and was the only one selected from among 42 candidates. Our finances were also getting better. My wife and I were continuing to get treatment for infertility without much success. The doctor had suggested a few attempts at intrauterine insemination (IUI), although she was not hopeful it would work for us. She had stated that this would be followed by attempts at in vitro fertilization (IVF), an expensive procedure. At the same time, I received a message from my company that I had been shortlisted for an entrance exam to an executive MBA program. The duration of the program beginning June 2000 was to be 1 year. I was in two minds. My wife was vehemently and vocally against appearing for the exam. I asked her to leave the decision to Guruji. She stated, what if he says yes? The treatment will stop for 1 year. Still, on our next visit, I gathered courage to go up to Guruji and ask him whether I should go for the exam. Guruji responded, saying, such chances come only once in a lifetime. You should go for it. I told my wife of Guruji's decision. She was unhappy. I appeared for the examination. Before the list of selected candidates was circulated, several rumor lists were doing the rounds. My name was not there in any of the rumor lists. I told my wife about it. She was relieved. Meanwhile, the doctor decided to make a last IUI attempt on 2 June 2000. She stated that she was not hopeful and would want us to go for IVF after this attempt. I informed my office that I would be coming late on that day. After the sample collection and initial checkup, I had to give a repeat sample. I called up my office and conveyed that I would get late further and may not come in at all. I was instructed to make it to the office howsoever late I may get. I gave a repeat sample and after arranging for my wife's return home, left for my office. There, I was told of my selection for the executive MBA program. Acceptance for joining the course was to be given within 3 days. The next day, we went for Guruji's darshan. I broke the news of my selection to the MBA program to Guruji. My illusion, as if anybody can ever break news to the omniscient. He smiled and said, "Fir te kalyan ho gaya. You have been blessed then." I thought, I have told Guruji about my selection, and he is saying I have been blessed with happiness. This is but obvious. What Guruji meant was not apparent to us. We were to discover that in a few days. I joined the institute at Gurgaon for the program. After the first module, I went back home. We went for darshan that evening. While returning, my wife asked me to buy a pregnancy test kit. And the meaning of Guruji's statement became obvious to us the next morning when my wife tested positive for pregnancy. The last attempt at IUI under tough circumstances had turned out successful. Thanks to Guruji, both of us were overwhelmed with joy and gratitude. We were in tears and were repeatedly kissing Guruji's photographs for a long, long while. We went to Guruji that evening. I touched his feet and was about to speak, once again trying to break the news to the omniscient. When he motioned me to keep quiet, "I know," he said. My wife went through her pregnancy quite comfortably in spite of my absence. She was able to get a house in her college campus during that phase, which helped her to do away with much of the traveling. She gave birth to a boy on 31st January 2001. After completion of the baby's first 40 days, we took the infant to Guruji for his blessings. The day at the time of giving us leave, Guruji asked my wife, "Poonam auntie, hor munda lena hai? Do you want another son?" She was taken by surprise and did not answer. Guruji repeated this question to my wife on every visit we made. She never answered, but kept wondering during our drives back home how she could go through the medical procedure once again, and that too with such a small child to care of. She said Guruji must be joking. After completion of my MBA in June 2001, I got transfer orders for Rajband, a place close to Durgapur in West Bengal. It was not possible for me to move at that time, considering the young child and other responsibilities at Delhi. I pleaded with my company seniors, but no one was prepared to help. Disheartened by the apathy of my seniors, I was considering moving to the new posting without my family after making arrangements in Delhi for their stay. We went for Guruji's darshan on the evening. The day the last of the seniors I had been requesting had said no to me, that day too, Guruji asked the same question to my wife, "Poonam auntie, hor munda lena hai?" She promptly spoke, "How will I get another son if my husband goes on a posting?" Guruji smiled and said, "This is really a technical problem. Let me cancel his transfer." We touched his feet and went back home. 2 days later, one of my senior officers called up and said, "You have been talking of your inability to move. Why don't you write your request out and fax it to me? I'll see what can be done about it." I knew who had put the thought in his mind. I continued in Delhi for another 2 years after that, rejoining the office on Guruji's birthday, 7 July 2001. Guruji continued to put the same question to my wife. One evening in April 2002, she answered, "As you please." The pregnancy test done the next day was positive. This time it had happened without any medical procedure. During the course of this pregnancy, my wife once mentioned to me that she wanted a daughter this time and would ask Guruji for the same. On her next visit, as she was about to make the request to Guruji while touching his feet, he spoke first. First time a son and next time also a son. She had her answer, and of course another son was born to us on 1st December 2002. Guruji christened the second son Ishuk. After the birth of our second child, Guruji once asked my wife whether she was planning to pursue a PhD. She replied that it was too difficult to manage her studies with 2 children. Guruji repeated the suggestion to her, adding, "Do you know PhD means pagal hone ka dar, fear of turning insane?" Again, the reason behind this suggestion became obvious to us much later when I got transferred to Mumbai. The only way my wife could join me was by taking leave for doing a PhD. On getting my transfer orders, I went to see Guruji's blessings and told him of my transfer. He told me to go ahead. I spent 1 year in Mumbai without my family. During this phase, we visited Guruji a few times. During one of the visits, Guruji told me, "You take your family along, or else I will give you one more son." We took the hint, and my wife applied for her PhD registration, which happened against all odds in a record short time, thanks to Guruji. As a result, my family could join me in Mumbai. It would not be out of place to mention here that one of my father's friends, an accomplished astrologer, had told me when we did not have any children that I would get my first child only at the age of 41. He had also predicted that I would have a son, that too only after 2 daughters. This astrologer has hardly ever been wrong. When I asked him after Guruji blessed us with children, the first one when I was 37 and the second when I was 39, how his prediction had gone wrong, he replied that astrology can only tell how your destiny has been decided by God. But a Mahapurush like Guruji, who is God personified, he continued, has the power to rewrite destiny. So there is no doubt that the one who has the power to rewrite our destinies is God Himself. Accidents averted on road and tarmac. In September 1999, I had gone to Shimla with my wife, driving my car. I have never been a good driver thanks to my habit of daydreaming. While we were returning from Shimla, we had a stopover at Chandigarh. The next morning, we started later than planned, and that was bearing heavily on my mind, prompting me to drive faster than usual. We ran into a traffic jam between Ambala and Karnal. Our car was behind an earth mover, and there were several cars behind us. I was anxious to go ahead, but unable to do so, as only one side of the road was operative and the broad-bodied earth mover was blocking the view of the traffic coming from the other side. My wife was sitting beside me, her eyes closed, listening to Shabads on her Walkman. The earth mover was traveling at a very slow pace. My patience gave way, and I sped the car to the right side of the earth mover, intending to overtake it. Just as the car came parallel to the earth mover and I sighted the traffic coming from the other side, I saw another earth mover racing towards us. It was only a few meters away with just a few inches between the two earth movers. The idea of the car being torn apart by the approaching earth mover, which brakes very slowly, and the noise of the crews of both earth movers shouting at me sent a chill down my spine. My wife opened her eyes and looked at me, and both of us could not do anything but remember Guruji. Suddenly, I saw a gap in the divider on our right and swerved the car through on to the non-operational side of the road. Who else but Guruji could have saved us like that? During February 2000, when I was on duty at the airport, passing on from the night shift through to the morning shift, I went for supervising the refueling of a Boeing 707. I found that the ground technician was working on the engine with its flap open, and our refueling staff was waiting for him to come and get the refueling started. I went to the technician, who said there was a lot of work to be done and he was single-handedly attending to the aircraft. Even the securing arm of the engine flap was not working, and he had to make it rest on the step ladder while working on the engine. I heard him out and requested that he get the refueling started and then attend to his work. He asked me to go to the refueler and that he would follow soon. Just as I turned to go, he shifted his stance on the stepladder, not in my sight, and the flap of the engine dropped from the rest it was on and started falling down. I caught a glimpse of the flap approaching me with great speed and remembered Guruji. The flap struck my forehead and blood oozed out. I was conscious and was driven to the airport doctor. He looked at the wound and said, "God has saved you. A centimeter up or a centimeter down and the injury could have been fatal." This time too I knew the God who had saved me. Saved in flooded Mumbai. On the day of the Mumbai floods, 26 July 2005, I was in office. Some of the employees left early, knowing that train services were disrupted. I went through my office work and came out at the usual time. By then, the employees who had left early to catch the trains had started returning to the office as the service had come to a halt. I had commuted that day by my car and was in two minds. Should I stay put or try to reach home? One of my colleagues came to me and said that his son was stuck in school, which was on our way to home. That decided it for me. I remembered Guruji and headed for home with a stopover planned at the school of my colleague's son. As we tried to leave office, one of the gates was already submerged and a car had broken down in front of it. We went out through the other gate. The roads were underwater and it was difficult to get through. Braving the water and the jams, we reached near the school of my colleague's son in about 2 hours. As the buses were not plying, the school had made arrangements for the overnight stay of the students at the school, we learned. My colleague said that since his son was comfortable with his classmates and our ability to reach home was doubtful, he had decided to let the child be only at the school for the night. We decided to continue trying to reach home. As we moved on, we found that the water had come to such a height that it was not possible to drive through or return to the office. I decided to park the car at the high point where I had parked it when my colleague had gone to his son's school and called home to say I would not be coming home. We slept in the car and the next day I drove the car back home slowly as the water kept receding. On reaching home in the evening, I found that all the cars parked in the residential complex had been submerged and required major repairs amounting to tens of thousands of rupees per car. The same had happened to the cars parked at the office. The media spoke of people who had slept in their cars on the road getting killed because the water level rose, trapping the occupants who were unable to pull down the window panes or open the doors. But no harm had come to me, and neither my car had been damaged. All because of the one whom I had remembered just before leaving office. Only Guruji's Kripa could have saved me that night, and it did. His grace continues after Mahasamadhi. In February 2007, on a visit to Delhi, I went to have Guruji's darshan. As I was about to bow before him before taking his leave, Guruji said, "Tu Delhi वापस आ गया है? Have you come back to Delhi?" I replied, "नहीं Guruji, हाली ते Bombay ही हाँ." "No, I am still in Bombay." Guruji pointed to another person and said that he was talking about that man. But this was indication enough for me, now having some sense of how disciples' wishes were granted, that I would get my long-awaited transfer to Delhi. I got my transfer orders to Delhi in the end of March 2007. I joined the Delhi office after a month and moved my family to Delhi on 26 May 2007. We were fortunate enough to have his darshan a day later. On 31st May 2007, when I came to know of Guruji's decision to leave his body, I was shattered. Returning from Bade Mandir, I kept on thinking of the innumerable occasions when Guruji had blessed us with all that was not our due and that we were not even worthy of. What will happen now? Who will take care of us? These questions crossed my mind and I did not have an answer. However, the one who had always answered all our demands, doubts, and prayers had the answers to these questions. I was to learn this in a few days. I had been participating in an inter-corporate business simulation competition with my team in 2005 and 2006. For 2007, the regional preliminary round was slated for 1 to 2 June in Delhi. But after Guruji's Mahasamadhi, I felt I could not continue. I called up my teammates and told them that I was a much weaker person now and that they should not rely on me. One of them consoled me, saying that the Guru does not ever desert a disciple, even after leaving his own body. I, however, did not believe him because I was grief-stricken. Our team somehow managed to get through the initial 4 rounds of the regional preliminaries. In the final round, we took risky decisions so that we could have a shot at the regional finals. The results came and we were told that we had not qualified. I pulled out Guruji's photograph from my pocket and said, "This is what is expected to happen now. आप गुरुजी के रहते हुए बात कुछ और थी. When you were around, it was different." As I was looking at Guruji's smiling face in the photograph, my teammate who was checking the results said they have not fed our decisions correctly into the computer. We went to the organizers and told them of the mistake. After corrections were made, we were found to have qualified for the regional finals. After that, our team did not look back and stood second in the national finals on 6 June 2007 and subsequently second in the Asia Pacific region finals in September 2007. Guruji had thus told us in no uncertain terms that he and his grace are still with the Sangat. On the personal front, I was worried about getting admission for our sons in a good school. We were trying to gain access for our sons through different contacts, but to no avail. Ultimately, I remembered Guruji and asked him, "When you have given us these two sons, why don't you get them admission in a good school?" The question was answered faster than it was asked. The children got admission in a top-class school in Delhi without any donation or political influence. When we had arrived in Delhi, we did not have a place from where my wife and I could attend our jobs and also look after our children aged 4 and 6 years. The only way out was for my wife to get a flat within her college, but none of the residents was close to retirement and there were several lecturers senior to her. The flats are allotted per the seniority of the applicants. This time too, the miracle we needed occurred. A resident vacated a flat as his son found it inconvenient to travel to a far-off school. Strangely, none of the lecturers senior to my wife applied for the flat. Who else but Guruji can make miracles happen as and when they suit the desires and demands of any member of the Sangat? I have summarized my experiences with Guruji, my God. I close this with my heartfelt gratitude and reverence to him. Om Shri Guru Devaya Namah. May Guruji continue to shower us and all his disciples with good fortune and good sense, and may we always remain worthy of being his disciples. Jai Guruji. Satsang of Akash Sethi, Senior Manager, Training and Development, Indian Oil Corporation. So with this, first and foremost, I seek forgiveness from our beloved Guruji if I made any mistake in the narration of this divine satsang. And I ask forgiveness from all of you as well. May Guruji continue showering his blessings upon all of us, and I invite you all to the reading of the next satsang of this divine holy book, Light of Divinity. With this, I sign off for today. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, each and every one of you. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji.